Hey YouTube, this is Jacques from Jacques Photography. I'm just going to weigh in a tiny bit on using the Fuji X-T2 for video. Hey YouTube, before I start this video, make sure you check out my behind the scenes photo shoots. I'm also going on photo missions this year in 2018. That is what I'm doing, so check the first ones out. I will leave links in the description below. I want to tell you guys that I am an amateur photographer. I'm more of a professional videographer, and I do this video thing mostly for corporate videos and corporate clients. I do not do full-fledged motion picture productions. Based on that, I just want to tell you a couple of things I thought about the X-T2, which I had to use for video recently. So let me just tell you a tiny bit of the story of why I actually use this camera for video. I had decided to buy the X-T2 for a photo workflow, almost exclusively. And I do have to admit, I do use it mostly for a photo workflow. But recently, my main camera, which is the Canon EOS 80D, that's my main camera when I'm actually filming myself or doing something. I wanted to actually use that on a stills project and document that whole idea of using the Canon 80D as a stills camera. So I did not have a video camera to film me doing what I was doing. So I decided to look at the X-T2, and I saw that it had a lot of great features, and I said, well, I might as well use that to document. And I wasn't disappointed. I really wasn't. I'll talk about a couple of things right off the bat, just so you know. I do a lot of behind-the-scenes photo shoots, and the one I did where I filmed with the X-T2, I used it in a very low-light situation. I used it in a studio, and when I film myself in a studio, because I want to kill that ambient light, it is very dark, and so I do have to push my ISO almost to the max to get some sort of shot that's decent. And I have to tell you that even though the images are quite grainy, they are still nice. The color trueness is there, and it's not, it definitely films in low light with an image that is very usable, meaning that you don't look at it and go, whack, I want to throw this away. So that was one point I wanted to mention. Also, a cool thing about the Fuji X-T2 is that you're using excellent optics. The optics with the Fuji X-T2 system, just the X optics, the lenses that they offer so far are excellent, super great high quality. I truly believe that one of the biggest problems with all cameras is that the bottleneck is in the glass, and you will not have that bottleneck with the Fuji X-T2 system. I wanted to mention that. And I also wanted to mention that due to the fact that it is a mirrorless camera, and this is not specific to only the X-T2 system, it is specific to all mirrorless cameras. What's great is that you can put an adapter on and use a lot of vintage glass. So I specialize in interviews, and I have to tell you that I like to use vintage glass when I do those interviews. I don't know why. I have a Nikkor 50mm 1.4, and when I use that to film, there's something about that old look that really gives a great look to the interview that I'm doing. So it is fun that on the X-T2 system you can adapt any sort of glass, and I have a great collection for that. I'll also leave a link to a video where I actually experimented with some 4K, so you can see. I filmed outside, there was plenty of light. I talked to you about the lenses that I use and stuff like that. You can look and see what sort of 4K comes out of this. The 4K is very decent. So in a workflow where you actually have to get into 4K, which is starting to be more and more present, it'll do the job. It really will do the job. I have had other 4K cameras that do a better job, but the X-T2 is great for that. Another point I wanted to mention was that I did use the Fuji X-T2 with the grip system. So the fact that I used it with a grip, I just want to mention that with the boost mode, you are adding a lot of features to this camera by using it with the actual battery grip. You get longer 4K video and a lot of other features, especially the earphone jack and stuff like that. So you are not giving up any sort of features on a video camera like you might have with a 5D Mark IV or a GH5 because of the fact that it's an X-T2 and mainly a stills camera. You will, with the battery grip, have what's called boost mode and have a lot of video features there at your fingertips. The last impression I want to talk to you guys about is the onboard audio on this. It is atrocious. It's just horrible. And so that brings in the fact that, just so you know, the Fuji X-T2 does have an external mic, and you will be wanting to use that, using the external mic and the earphone to make sure that your sound is of good quality. Do not use the onboard sound on the Fuji X-T2. They put absolutely no effort into the DACs, into the actual digital audio conversion in here. It's just muffly, and it's not nice at all. And coming from a sound background, trust me, I know what I'm talking about. It is not very good. So it's one of the things that I noticed with the camera when I was listening to the onboard audio. But all in all, I think what I'm trying to say here is that the Fuji X-T2 is a camera that is decent. It holds its own. It does have 4K, and the 1080p is really nice. You also have 60p, so you can go into slow-mo if you like. It does a great job. It really does. And coupled with that glass, that fantastic glass, you're getting a good video camera. Would I say that it could be an A cam? I believe so, but just barely. I think there are other cameras out there like the 80D that are a bit better at that sort of thing, just because of the video integration. Now, if you are into 4K, then that comparison sucks, because I know that the 80D has absolutely no 4K at all. But the 1080p that the 80D does is just friggin' stellarly amazing, especially when you go into all eye. It just blasts everybody away, bar none, even the Sonys. So I just wanted to mention that. But back to the X-T2, I think it's a camera that holds its own. It's a definite B cam, and just borderline could be an A cam for a lot of reasons, especially the fact that the glass is just so amazing. So I just wanted to weigh in on the fact of how you can use this camera in a video workflow. I use it with this small rig right here, the small rig cage. Therefore, I can add a lot of accessories, getting rid of the whole stills form factor and making this camera more of a video camera. So coupled with the cage, I think you are in for a treat, and you will be pleasantly surprised by the quality of this camera to do video. Follow, like, subscribe, and share, everybody. And don't forget, keep on making something from nothing.